Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Township Committee meeting of December the 17th of 2019. Ms. Bork, will you please call the roll?
Committeewoman Holmes? Committeeman Lopani?
Here.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Thompson?
Here.
Mayor Delcourt?
Here.
Administrator Ferreira?
Here.
Attorney Willard?
Here.
Attorney Bernstein?
Here. Please join me in the salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be advised that in accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, the notice of this meeting was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex and notifying the officially designated newspapers that this meeting would take place at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex at 7:30 p.m. on December the 17th of 2019. First on our agenda, we have approval of minutes. We have a motion to approve the May 14th, 2019 executive session minutes.
I'll move those.
Second.
Any comments from the dais? Comments from the floor? Roll call, please.
Committeeman Lopani?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Thompson?
I was absent, so I'll abstain.
Mayor Delcourt?
Yes. We'll move to reports from committee liaisons. First up is Committeewoman McCauley.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Just a few notes from me. I see our Chief McMahon's in the back of the room, and I wanted to just say congratulations to the Hillsborough Police Department, once again winning the Courier News Reader's Choice Award for 2019. Congratulations. They've been receiving this from 2014, I believe, so good job, good work, thank you. And this, you can have this probably at the end of the meeting. But thank you. Also wanted to say thank you to the Hillsborough High School hockey team for the donation of teddy bears to the police department. They had a Saturday game against Bernards Township, and the hockey team hosted a teddy bear toss after the first goal. And with those extra bears collected, they were donated to the Hillsborough Police Department to use on calls when children are involved to help them get through some scary experiences if necessary. So I wanted to say thank you to the Hillsborough High School hockey team. Really nice of them. I'm sure the PD appreciates it. So that's it for me this evening, Mayor.
Thank you very
Thank
much. Committeeman Lopani.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things from the Finance Department, and particularly for dog owners. Please check that your rabies expiration date on your pet's rabies vaccination. Make sure it's up to date. If not, you will not be able to renew their dog license for 2020 without a rabies vaccination that is good through October of 2020. So please take advantage of Township's free rabies clinic on January 25th from 10 to noon. That's January 25th from 10 to noon. From the Building Department, during the holiday seasons, obviously, as I say, it's a festival of lights. Although pretty, they have associated risks that you should be mindful of when purchasing any holiday light. Check that the package is UL listed for indoor and outdoor use and use only as directed. When purchasing extension cords, also be sure they are UL listed as well. Be careful not to overload power strips or receptacles. This can cause overheating or even a short circuit. And lastly, from the engineering department, we'd just like to make an announcement that the township has received a 2020 grant from the state for repaving Willow Road Phase 2 for $340,000. Work will be completed in 2020. Phase 2 is located between Valinor Road and Hillsborough Road. Funding for Phase 1, which encompasses the area between Valinor and Amel Road, was granted in 2019. That work was delayed due to weather. Both Phases 1 and 2 will be completed in 2020. And I'd just like to reiterate the thanks to all the township employees for always pursuing grants to help ease the burden of the township, and another job well done. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Committeewoman Holmes was unable to join us tonight, so Deputy Mayor Thompson, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I just want to congratulate Brendan O'Kane for getting his Eagle Scout Award. Unfortunately, I missed his proclamation last week, but I was able to attend his Court of Honor. It was probably one of the best Court of Honors I ever attended. I've had the honor of knowing Brendan since he was born, so it was very neat to see him graduate up to this level. So just want to again say congratulations to him and apologize for missing that last week. I also want to thank the third graders of HES who were kind enough to invite me to come speak to their grade about student government. It was extra special for me because if you can tell, there's two little girls in front that are my twin daughters, so they were probably the most critical out of all the questions that were asked. But it was a really great time just to be there and listen to all the students, and you really get a flavor of what's going on in the community, because if you ever want to know people that are never going to hold the punch back, it's a third grader who wants to know what's going on with the park somewhere in the township. So I do want to, again, thank all the teachers for inviting me to that. I also want to thank the Robo Raiders 75 team for inviting me to their Burrow Blast to kick that off last week. It's always a great, a couple weeks ago, sorry. It's always a great event, a great way to get the next generation really involved in robotics and all the STEM that we need to get these kids involved with. So again, I just want to thank the Robo Raiders for inviting me to their kickoff event a couple weeks ago. From our Recreation Department, the Winter Activities Guide is available on our website, and registration for the winter programs is now open. We offer programs for a variety of age groups, from toddlers to adults. You can keep your kids active over the winter with the Recreation Department. A few programs that we are highlighting are Foundation Tennis for children in kindergarten to third grade, Code Ninjas, an 8-week program to teach kids age 7 to 14 how to build their own video games, and Musical Theater, an 8-week program to show your 3rd through 8th graders what it takes to put on a musical production. In addition to these children's programs, we are offering men's open basketball on Monday and Wednesday nights, as well as adult volleyball, both men's only and co-ed. You can check the Parks and Recreation website at www.hillsboroughrecreation.org to see the winter activities guide. That's all from me, Mayor, but just as a point of personal privilege, I just want to congratulate you on an amazing year as mayor. I think you've led it in exemplary fashion. We had a tax decrease. We don't get those often. So just on behalf of, I'm sure, all of us, I just want to say thank you and great job. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. One of the things that's really nice about what we do is, as much as it's fun to sit in this chair, all the things that we do cannot be accomplished without a collaborative effort of all of our, both township committee people as well as our staff in town. So thank you for your comments, but it is a total team effort to get stuff done here, so appreciate it. Just a couple items from me tonight that I'd like to highlight. I'd like to thank Station 37 Fire Company Number 2, which is on Route 206 Firehouse, for the toy drive that they conducted for the township. As you can see, it was quite a success. We had we started the packing process today for some of the toys that we'll be giving away to some of our kids in town, and it is really heartwarming to see the amount of donations that people here in Hillsborough will give for families in need. And I thank the firehouse. I also thank all of our residents that stepped up and provided gifts and things for the toy drive. It's really special what we do here, and I appreciate everyone's participation in this very worthy process. Please join us at Temple Beth-El on December the 27th, which is the 6th night of Hanukkah at 6 p.m. We'll have a Shabbat Hanukkah service, and also the community-wide menorah lighting that we do each year will be at Temple Beth-El. Again, that's December the 27th at 6 p.m. For that service and menorah lighting. The 2020 calendar should have hit most people's mail. We have photographs from a number of local photographers and artists, but if you haven't gotten it, you should be receiving it shortly. I'd like to thank all those that have contributed photos. We'll be recognizing all of them in the coming months. If you're interested in submitting a photo for the calendar for 2021, please email your high-resolution photo to Ms. Borak, our township clerk, at pborak@hillsborough-nj.org, and we will make sure we let you know when we're going to be doing submissions or information about that. As this is our last meeting of 2019, we're looking forward to our 2020 reorganization meeting. That's going to be held on Thursday, January the 2nd. The meeting will start at 7 p.m. Please note that is 30 minutes earlier than our normal meeting schedule. Public is always invited, and it's our annual kickoff and reorg session. So we hope you'll be able to join us again Thursday, January the 2nd at 7 p.m. Further looking ahead, just to save the date, on January the 25th of next year, Hillsborough High School boys and girls basketball teams will be presenting a community day, which will be highlighted by 6 games against Nottingham High School. Additional attractions include a business fair stationed by local organizations, private local businesses, volunteer opportunities, and mental health services. A concession area in the high school commons will run throughout the day with food and drink for sale offerings from local restaurants and vendors, halftime shows and performances between games by local bands and performing art groups. So there'll be more information forthcoming on that, but just to save the date, again, that's January the 25th. We'll also provide ticket information for those that would like to attend. Keep an eye out in the Friday e-news for more information there. And speaking of the e-news, as always, you can stay connected with all township events via the Friday e-newsletter and our Twitter feed. TV 29 and our Hillsborough YouTube channel showcase our meetings, as well as the Hillsborough Good Life episodes and Hillsborough alerts for traffic and emergency notifications. We're going to move on at this point to our proclamations. I will ask that for those that come up and have a recognition this evening or are coming up for a proclamation, if you could please return to your seat after you receive your recognition. After all the recognitions and presentations are completed, we will take a short break. We'll allow everyone that would like to leave an orderly opportunity to do that. As always, you are welcome to stay. It's the last opportunity you'll get this year to attend one of our wonderful meetings, but we'll understand if you want to go. So we'll go through the proclamations, and then we'll take a quick break, let everybody that would like to leave. So first up, I'd like to call up Haley Sheldon for her Girl Scout Gold Award. So Haley Sheldon, a Hillsborough High School graduate and a current freshman at William Woods University studying equine veterinary science, is a member of Girl Scout Troop 60367 and has earned her Gold Award. Her Gold Award project consisted of creating a children's cooking class for the township. Haley developed kid-friendly and healthy recipes to teach children basic cooking skills. She was assisted and mentored by Karen Briggs and the Parks and Recreation Department, as well as some of her fellow Girl Scouts. Haley was involved with the stage crew at Hillsborough High School. She's an avid saddle seat horseback rider and has won many competitions. She is now a member of the Delta Gamma sorority and holds a leadership position within that sorority. The Hillsborough Township Committee recognizes and extends its sincere congratulations to Haley for having earned her Girl Scout Gold Award, an honor for both her and for those who have guided her. And we wish her the best in all her future endeavors. Haley, congratulations. We're so proud you were able to get your Gold Award, and congratulations.
I just want to thank my family, obviously Karen Briggs and Jessica Gonzalez from Hillsborough Rec for helping me, guide me through this. I want to thank the New Jersey and Hillsborough Girl Scouts for always mentoring me, and to my family for always supporting me.
Okay, can I have Jack Schwartz come up? Thanks, Jack. Jack Schwartz, a sophomore at Hillsborough High School. Now we got sophomores getting Eagle Scout awards. It's incredible. A member of Boy Scout Troop 186, that tells you the dedication that this young man has recently earned the rank of Eagle Scout. Jack's Eagle Scout project was creating a monument dedicated to active duty police at the municipal building here, which consisted of a 2-ton boulder with a commemorative plaque, 2 granite benches, and a garden. The project took over 200 hours with the assistance of 18 people. Jack has held multiple positions within the Boy Scout troop. He's been Junior Assistant Scoutmaster, Senior Patrol Leader, Assistant Senior Patrol Leader, Assistant Patrol Leader, and Bugler. He is an honor roll student and a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo. The Hillsborough Township Committee recognizes and extends our sincere congratulations to Jack for having achieved the rank of Eagle Scout, an honor for both himself and for those who have guided him, with best wishes for a bright future. If you have not seen the monument, it's just outside the police department in sort of the grass area behind the building here. It was an area that needed a little upkeep, and it's turned into a beautiful monument area for our active duty police. So Jack, thank you very much. We enjoyed the groundbreaking you had there and having that ceremony, and congratulations on getting this project done.
I just wanted to extend my gratitude towards David and Pam at the municipal building for really helping me out with coordinating my Eagle project and really getting me off the ground. And I also want to thank you, Mayor, for this amazing award. I also have to thank the amazing scouts who are here today who really assisted with volunteering and helping my garden and my dream become a reality. And I got to thank the police for all the amazing work they do in our town. And I hope they continue to really help provide a stable environment for others. And I got to thank Troop 186 for doing such a great job and helped me gain Eagle. So thank you so much.
Okay, I'd like to call up one of Hillsborough's premier employees, Dan Davenport. Come on up. You're going to have to use both hands here.
I asked one of my kids to come up.
They can come up.
Bring them on up. All right. Look at it, he's hungry.
So Dan Davenport, an employee of the Hillsborough Public Works Department and current Assistant Supervisor, was recently awarded the Richard Rohrback Public Works Leader of the Year, presented by the New Jersey chapter of the American Public Works Association. The award is given to a public works official who is dedicated to public service, inspires excellence, and displays outstanding achievements. Dan was specifically nominated for his creative and strategic process improvement solution to managing the township's storm drains. He created, procured the funding, and oversaw the production of a storm drain repair trailer that enables the road crews to repair and maintain the basins more quickly and efficiently throughout the township. Throughout his career, Dan has shown a commitment to bettering the township through his efforts to increase productivity and efficiencies throughout the Public Works Department. The Hillsborough Township Committee recognizes and congratulates Dan for his outstanding service in the Public Works Department and for being awarded the Richard Rohrback Public Works Leader of the Year. we had the opportunity, each year there's a municipal conference, which was last month, and Dan was provided this award, and we're very proud to have such outstanding employees as Dan be recognized for the great work that they do. We all know how great Hillsborough is. It's nice that other organizations recognize the great work of our employees. So Dan, congratulations.
Thank you, Mary Delcor, Township Committee members, Administrator Ferreira, Pam, thank you very much for presenting me with this proclamation to be selected, for being selected the APWA Richard Roback Leader of the Year. This is truly an honor to be standing here with the mayor accepting this proclamation. I would like to thank the American Public Works Association for selecting me for this award. My director of Public Works, Richard Reserve, he inspired me to be the leader that I am and had the confidence in me to submit the nomination for the award. My supervisor and very good friend, Jeff Huxley, he's been a mentor to me. Jeff received a similar award back in 2007 from the APWA, and it really feels great following in his footsteps of a true leader. My co-assistant supervisor, Ron Christie, my foreman, Greg Brandt, park supervisor, John Crossan, and our office manager, Sheila Castellano, my wife, my family, my wife, Tracy, my daughter, Sarah, Jacob, my son, my dad, my brother, Jim, my sister, Dee, everybody. I mean, my friends, my mother and father-in-law, thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you all for your support and the strength you have given me. And of course, my team of DPW workers who are hardworking, talented individuals who provide a key component to our successful Public Works Department. Especially I'd like to recognize Chris McKenzie and Fred Tenor. They are my basing crew guys. I mean, we had a big challenge this summer with all these roads that needed to be paved, and we had to get these basins done before the contractors came in, and they just nailed it. They really did a great job. Thank you guys for doing that. This award and proclamation may recognize one employee, but it's really the team who makes this job successful and gratifying to work here at the township. From our DPW team to everyone here in the complex, you have all helped me be the leader that I am. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Come on. Let's go. I gave my daughter just a few months ago a proclamation for winning the softball, middle school softball championship. So she should be used to this. There you go.
Thank you so much.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, can I have the 2019 Hillsborough Baseball League 7-year team?
Uh-oh, we had these two coaches over here? How are you?
You guys right in the middle. The 2019 Hillsborough Baseball League 7-year team had a very successful season due to their hard work and dedication. The team went undefeated in both the summer and fall USABL baseball leagues and won the 2019 Fall League Championship. The 2019 Hillsborough Baseball League 7-year team won the Summer Slam Tournament in Branchburg, Leather and Lumber Classic in Neptune, and the Fraser Halloween Havoc in Howell. The 7U team was led by manager Christian Fomino and coaches Rick Feltre, Dave Gubatosa, Sanjay Ibrahim, Marco Meladinov, and Sam Rosicki, and consisted of the following young athletes.
My name is Neo. My name is Michael. My name is Jake. My name is Kevin. My name is John. My name is Jack. My name is Alex. My name is Vincent. My name is Connor. My name is Joey. My name is Oliver. My name is Leo.
The Hillsborough Township Committee commends the Hillsborough Baseball League 7U team, the coaches and parents, not only for their successful season, but for their hard work, dedication, and commitment to the sport, and to those principles of good sportsmanship, teamwork, and academic achievement, which the organization endorses. Great season. Congratulations on all your championships this year, and we're looking forward to when you move up to the next league and winning more championships. Congratulations, Coach Wilson.
I'd just like to thank the mayor and township committee for having us in tonight, all the coaches who put in time this season, and of course the parents who dragged everybody around to 49 games across the state. So appreciate all the work. Thank you, everybody.
Coach Pam. Take a knee, just like the baseball picture.
Any of the parents want to come towards the middle, feel free. Don't be shy.
Sounds like a sporting event.
Good job.
That was my Duke's football coach. He taught me how to climb.
Okay, the Hillsborough High School Choir, come on up.
They should go sing Good Life.
That's a good idea. Sean.
Sing it.
I think
You're right next to me, so you get the left.
Text Pam, say that.
The 2019 Hillsborough High School Choir had a very successful year due to their hard work and dedication. 21 choir students were selected by the Central New Jersey Music Educator Association to perform at Monroe High School on January 27, 2019, under the direction of Jennifer Sengen and John Wilson. The Hillsborough High School Choir, under the direction of Miss Juliana Lobiondo, competed in an International Festival of Gold in Chicago in April as a result of their accomplishments in the international competition in Montreal, Canada. All three choirs received gold scores ratings of 95 out of 100, as well as 3 adjudicator awards, Outstanding Soloist Award, and Choral Sweepstake Award. 12 students were selected by the New Jersey Music Educators to perform with 350 students at the Atlantic City Convention Center and the New Jersey Performing Arts Center under the direction of Dr. Sandra Snow. 6 students were selected and will perform at the NJ PAC under the direction of Ms. Nicole Snodgrass. The choir is led under the direction of Juliana Lobiando and under the leadership of the choir council, which consists of, and I'm going to ask you guys to...
Hi, my name is Owen. Hi, my name is Owen Gavigan.
I'm sure your parents appreciate it.
My name is Aiden Minter.
I'm Sean Desai.
I'm Vanessa Witheridge.
I'm Lyra Consul.
I'm Elizabeth LeBeau.
Frank Delcor.
I'm Falcon Burns.
I'm Matthew Conlon.
I'm Caitlin Schwartz.
I'm Sabrina Schubert.
I'm Evan Sonofanti.
I'm Hiba Siddiqui.
I'm Juliana Lobiando.
The Hillsborough Township Committee commends the Hillsborough High School Choir, the choir director, conductors, and parents, not only for their successful year, but for their hard work, dedication, and commitment to the arts and to those principles of teamwork, academic achievement, and commitment to community, which the organization endorses. The choir has been so wonderful to the Township Committee and to the Township in general. They volunteer to perform at our annual Salute to the Veterans Breakfast. They obviously are very successful in their competition. And I didn't ask Ms. Lobiando, but maybe they could sing a couple of verses since it's the holiday season.
I warned them.
Happens when you're good. We want to hear it.
If you're sincere, they'll...
I am completely sincere.
By the way, Mayor, you said you were one of them. Just so you know, I announced that you were one of them.
He'll sing. I've heard him sing.
I like the way you negotiate. You got a free concert here. Simple.
I love the meeting with the show.
As built. They're taking it serious. Just Christmas carols, right? Just like carols in the hotel.
That's great, that's great. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck, everybody. We haven't rehearsed this at all. It's okay.
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant, oh come ye to Bethlehem. Oh, come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Oh, come, my faithful, oh, come, my faithful, oh, come, my faithful to Bethlehem. Oh, come, my faithful, oh, come, my faithful, oh, come, my faithful to Bethlehem. Oh, sing choirs of angels, oh, come, my sing in exaltation, oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Oh, come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ. Oh, come, my faithful, oh, come my, oh, come 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 my, oh, come my faithful, oh, come my faithful, oh, come my faithful to Bethlehem. Oh, come my faithful, oh, come my faithful, oh, come my faithful to Bethlehem. Oh, come my faithful, oh, come my faithful, born the King of angels. Oh, come let us adore him. Oh, come let us adore him. Oh, come let us adore him, Christ. Oh, come my faithful, oh, come my faithful, oh, come my faithful to Bethlehem.
If that's without practicing, I'll come back when you guys have actually practiced. My God, outstanding. Thank you for doing that. I know we put you on the spot a little bit, but that was wonderful, and we appreciate it very much. Thank you. Before you go, we can take a quick picture, yeah.
Now you want a picture? Jeez. We're demanding for a proclamation. Squeeze together.
Really impressive.
In the bag, Frank. That was awesome. I was like, you simple jingle bells, right? No, we gotta go full on.
Great.
Ready. He's the whiz kid.
Didn't know you were coming to concert, did you? Okay, we have one more proclamation this evening, and that's for the Somerset County Business Partnership.
I know, right? Can you sing?
You're not, oh, yeah. The Somerset County Business Partnership concluded a year-long 100th anniversary celebration of the organization on Tuesday, December 9, 2019, bringing together businesses and political leaders. Nearly 500 people listened to Business Partnership President and CEO Mike Cohen set the agenda for 2020 and beyond based upon the premise that Somerset County is a special place. The Somerville Chamber of Commerce was organized on March 12, 1919. Now known as the Somerset County Business Partnership, the mission of the SCBP is to lead the business community to a prosperous and sustainable future and serves as a platform for businesses to gain information, brand their business, develop leadership skills, and improve profitability. The Hillsborough Township Committee recognizes and congratulates the Somerset County Business Partnership on its 100-year anniversary. It's a tremendous organization. We work very closely with it here at Hillsborough Township. David Coyce is our business advocate, serving to serve the business community here in Hillsborough, and we work very closely, and we congratulate you on the 100-year anniversary and for all the great work and the partnership you do with us here in Hillsborough. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is awesome. Like the mayor said, we've been around 100 years. This very well may be the first time we were recognized with a proclamation by a town. And it's perfect that it's been done by Hillsborough Township. Somerset County, when it gets right down to it, is all about making vibrant connections, working together to make our community a better place. No town does it better than Hillsborough Township. You can take it from me. I've been around this community a long time. I go back to the days of Mayor Pete Biondi, who's here with us in spirit. So it's great that we were recognized by Hillsborough. Thank you very much. I do want to also recognize the work of Chris Edwards. He is here with me, and Melissa DeFries, a proud Hillsborough resident. And this, David as well, as a business advocate. Hillsborough does a great job supporting the business community, so it's another reason why we're really happy to get this award. And I also want to shout out to Anthony and Pam for their work as well and support. So thank you very much. We very appreciate this. Thank you very
I said that was the last proclamation, but we still have a couple things we still have to do. So can I call up Austin Castellano?
He's waiting.
Oh, just this one. So the New Jersey chapter of the American Public Works Association, this is the Chapter Scholarship Award, is presented to Austin Castellano, November 21st, 2019. Austin has, this is a scholarship presented by the Public Works Association. Very proud to have you recognized for this. There's a plaque for you, and congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Mayor. First off, I'd just like to give a special thank you to the Department of Public Works for enabling me to achieve this honor. I'd also like to give a special thanks to my family, my mother in specific, for being here, always supporting me, getting on me, making sure I submit the application for this. So, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'd like to recognize all of our members of our Sustainable Committee here in town. So earlier I mentioned that there's a league conference each year, and Sustainable New Jersey is a big part of that process, and Hillsborough recognized once again as a silver award winner in the Sustainable New Jersey category. And I think we're in the top 20-ish or so of communities in the state. Solely as it relates to sustainability. We're working our way up. But it's because of a lot of the hard work that this committee does on our Sustainable Committee. They put projects in place to help us win sustainability points with Sustainable New Jersey, and it's something I know is very important to a number of residents, as it is to the Township and the Township Committee. So I'd like to recognize the great work done by this commission and in recognition of the Silver Award for Sustainability. David Coyce, who is our business advocate, is also our sustainability leader, and I'll let him maybe talk a little bit more about that.
Thank you, Mayor. I apologize, but I did not prepare a song, so sorry to disappoint everyone on that regard. This is a really big year. This is 10 years of Sustainable Jersey. This is the 8th certification that's that Hillsborough has achieved. This is personally my seventh, so thank you for the honor to assist with that. And this amazing group of people that are up here, it's a team effort. Sustainability basically has been strong in this town for a long time. Hillsborough was one of the first towns to be certified in 2009, and we've continued a strong tradition, and we've been making great strides and incorporating it in almost everything we do here. The employees have been really taking passion to trying to institute it in as much as they can to try to help the town and all its efforts. So it's been a really incredible 8 years for me to be a part of this, and we're just so excited with where the program is going and what we could do next. So thank you so much, Mayor, for the opportunity.
We'll let you on here.
And we do have Randy Solomon representing Sustainable Jersey with us today. And we have a certificate of appreciation which is presented to Sustainable Jersey in honor of Sustainable Jersey's 10th anniversary and recognition of Sustainable Jersey's continuous support of the Township of Hillsborough, and it's signed by the Mayor and the Administrator. Randy, thank you for your support. This is an important initiative for us. We appreciate the support that we get from Sustainable Jersey. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mayor. And also to the council. Your member was correct that you are in the top 5, and in fact, we give Sustainability Champion Awards out every year. There's 3 categories: big, medium, small, and Hillsborough, I think, comes in second now. You've inched your way up, and this year you're pretty close to taking the Sustainability Champion for the Medium-Sized Town Award. So I just want to thank you all for this recognition, and also congratulate you for having the most entertaining council meeting that I've ever been to. That was fantastic, and I also want to give a shout out to the crew on the bass line. It's hard to be heard over the sopranos and the altos, but you guys did great, and thank you so much for this recognition. And keep up the great work.
Thanks for your thank you.
Chris?
Hey, thanks a lot.
Okay. We're going to have a quick presentation, no more proclamations this evening, but you see over here we have some artwork and our latest superhero here in Hillsborough. So we take our Clean Communities projects very seriously here in town. You've heard about the great work that is done by our Department of Public Works day in and day out. And as part of our Clean Communities grant earlier this year, we had a cleanup day, but part of that was sort of the launching of a process that I'm going to let our Clean Communities team talk about a little bit in terms of this presentation, outlining what's been done and what our new superhero represents. So why don't we have our Clean Communities team come on up? Where are they? Oh, there. Sheila was hiding back there.
Hi, my name is Richard Esvey. I'm the Director of Public Works, and this is a big deal for me tonight. Top supervisor here,
get a great award, to be a leader, you need followers, and you have 4 solid rows of them there. And it's comprised of workers and managers and friends and family. It's great stuff. We get this Clean Community Grant every year. It's sponsored by the state. It allows us to handle litter abatement, and that's picking up litter in town. It's a very creative way we do it. We have an excellent committee. They give us freedom to use it the way we need to use it, and I think we do a really great job at it. The first thing I'm going to do is make a presentation of a mini grant to a group called the Central Jersey Stream Team. They take care of the tributary, the South Branch, correct? Yep. That is the border that borders Hillsborough and Branchburg. And if you could, this is Jen Zrydell, the president. You could just quickly say something about.
Sure. We're the Central Jersey Stream Team. We've been doing cleanups in the county and the state since 2013. And Hillsborough has been very supportive since the beginning, especially when we're in the area. Rich and the DPW for taking all the trash. We've collected tons of material over the years. We're at about 5,000 tires now that we've pulled out of various waterways and park areas. We rely solely on volunteers, so if you don't mind getting dirty, look us up. We're on Facebook and on the internet. We'll be publishing our schedule probably early in the year, probably February, after we take a little bit of a break. But yes, we cleaned up the South Branch earlier in the year, did a stretch from NESHANIC to Clawson Avenue, and we pulled out a lot of stuff there, even though we've cleaned that area several times already. There's just lots of stuff in the rivers. There's new stuff coming in, so we want to also encourage people not to litter, but we're pulling a lot of the trash out that's been in there for decades. So thank you again to Hillsborough, and we appreciate the support.
One last thing about this group, they're amphibious now, so they're on land. He's emailing me the other day, hey, we want to do a cleanup at Otto's Park. I didn't know you did that, so.
Yeah, we'll go wherever.
Welcome to the team. Next, I'd like to turn it over to Sheila Castellano. She's our office administrator, and again, it's all about freedom. You give people the chance to do what they can do, and they do great things. The whole concept of this person to our left, the superhero, I'm going to let her talk about, but there was a ton of work put into it. It's a great vision, and you're going to see it over and over in Hillsborough, so please look for it.
Hi, thank you all for coming. So I just wanted to go over a little bit about our program. We wanted to do something that would expand the Clean Communities program and try to get more people to want to be involved in it. Litter abatement is always a problem for every town, but we wanted to try to take it to the next level in Hillsborough. So the concept was to create a character that both children and adults would want to become involved in. And so we decided to create a superhero. And what better superhero to create than a woman who kind of is nurturing and takes care of the earth and things like that. So we spent a lot of time developing her, and through a lot of revisions, we partnered with a local artist, Amy Ewens, to create the drawing that you see there, or the painting, and we kind of have brought her to life. We want to take her to the next level in 2020 and try to get more people involved through outreach and education. So the other mannequin that you see there is made completely out of things that were going into the garbage or from litter that was picked up. So that's kind of where we want to go with this. We also have another initiative that's trying to eliminate the use of single-use plastic bags, because a lot of those bags do end up as litter. So through the Choose to Reuse campaign, through Clean Communities and the New Jersey Food Council, we have designed some bags in the back. Each one of you can take one with you when you go and try to use those when you go to the grocery stores and things like that, instead of getting single-use bags. And everyone has one?
We did. It's on cue.
Regarding our cleanup, we had a town-wide cleanup on the 16th of November. We had 21 volunteers, so we always welcome more volunteers when we're doing cleanups. If you want to get involved, please contact us next year, and we can see about getting you involved in that as well. But we did pick up over a ton of garbage. We filled an entire container, and that was only 3 sites in town. So there's definitely lots of litter out there to be collected.
One more thing. Lastly, please visit our website. There's a great deal of information. It's not worth the time it would take to explain it all up here, but the site's very informational. You've done a great job putting it together, and we need the help. We can't do it with all of you guys. It's just the 2 of us, so we need some help.
So just really, this is an example of the type of employees that we have here in Hillsborough, those that care deeply about the community, want to make sure that when we get these clean community grants that we're doing all we can to further beautify our beautiful town, but to take it to a level of trying to create a program that makes it fun and interesting, especially for some younger kids, to get involved and help us out with the cleanup projects we do in town. I'd like to thank Sheila and Rich for their creativity in the process, our local artists for the work that was done here, and it just shows how much we have employees that really care about wanting to make Hillsborough one of the best places to live, and that's why we continue to be a successful town. So thank you very much for your work in building this program, and I look forward to seeing Casey out there next year.
Picture with the super. What? Don't start troublemaker.
Okay, I know I said it before, but I promise that was it for our presentations this evening. I'd like to thank everyone that came out tonight. Congratulations to all our recipients and recognition awardees tonight. We will take a short break now, so for those of you that would like to leave, if you want to stay and see the magic that's the rest of our meeting, you're welcome to stay, but we appreciate you being out here. And for those of you that are leaving, I wish you all a very, very happy holidays. This is our last meeting of the year, so enjoy your Christmas, Hanukkah, your happy holidays, Happy New Year, and we look forward to seeing you on our reorg meeting on January 2nd. Thank you. Okay, thank you again to all of our recipients this evening, and we wish everyone a very happy and healthy holiday season. We're going to move on to our agenda. We have no new business tonight, so we're going to move to public comment on new business and matters that are not on the agenda. If anyone has a comment on a matter that's not on tonight's agenda, now's the time to come forward.
How you doing, everyone?
Hi. Name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Green Colmer, 144 Taylor Avenue. This is in regard to ordinance 2019-20, which you guys voted on 2 weeks ago, correct?
Last week.
Last week. It was last week? You have weekly meetings?
No, we
All right, got it. All right, guess we're so, sorry, I got a little emotional at the last meeting, and I apologize for that. However, I'm coming at this from a different perspective and saying, it sounded like to me after your closing statements of yes vote that you were forced into making this decision of a yes. So I'm trying to parse out and saying, what in the world happened? How did we get to this point? And then in doing some research, I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, so I'm just here for some clarifications, some questions just about this property, why it's here, what are we doing, and then what can we do forward, if that's okay. So In some of the research, I'm looking back, in 2008, this property was to be developed on previously for perhaps even the same reason in terms of affordable housing, whatever else. Is that correct?
It was originally, an application was made to the zoning board, I believe, in 2008 for a 100% affordable housing project.
So yeah, I'm going to take that as a yes. Okay, and that was denied because it was citing variance from the zoning department. Is that right?
It was denied by the zoning board.
It was denied by the zoning board. Do you know why?
No.
Okay, so in some clarification, I'm just seeing in some public comments or whatever else, it was something in terms of the variance or whatever the properties that was in there. And then it went to a downward spin of they repealed that decision?
They attempted to appeal my
The
understanding
landowner did, correct?
and were denied. It's on a standing issue.
Okay, right, but then it was overturned from the landowner. Is that right?
No.
Was
The
it
matter-
overturned?
The matter concluded at that point is my understanding.
It is.
As to that application 11 years ago.
So the landowner is still looking to develop on this land?
That is correct, and they sought intervention status and became an intervener in the Township's affordable housing litigation in 2015.
Okay. So just as a question of what makes this different than what was denied before in terms of the variance, the property, what it's going to be used for, the difference in that space?
They're if I may, Your Honor, they're an intervener in affordable housing litigation. That's what makes them different. And they have standing as an intervener, and they have an impact on the Township's overall affordable housing plan, unlike back in 2008 when they were not.
Who granted them then the ability to be on that in terms of their affordable housing plan that we have as a community?
Well, they're allowed to seek intervener status through the court process.
So I'm going to need some mild knowledge about what intervener is, and I apologize.
A litigant, it's essentially a litigant.
Okay. In terms of, we want to do this, and we want to use our land
Correct.
to do this?
Petitioning the courts to be part of the affordable housing process.
We have to grant them?
We don't grant it one way or the other. Basically, it was granted by the court in accordance with a decision of the New Jersey Supreme Court issued in 2015.
Are they currently in lawsuit with us?
Yes.
Okay, no settlement has been made?
Yes, a settlement was entered into that led to the zoning ordinance that was adopted by the governing body last week.
Can you speak to anything else about that settlement in terms of this?
It's a public document. You can obtain it from the clerk's office.
Thank you, and I will, and I apologize not having the full knowledge with it, but it seems like this settlement made this ordinance come to pass. Am I getting that correctly?
That is correct. It was a part of the settlement agreement.
And who made the settlement? You board attorneys, the committee here?
My office, on behalf of the township, as the Affordable Housing Council, provided a draft settlement agreement for consideration by the governing body in conjunction with the developer, the court-appointed special master, Elizabeth McManus, and the Honorable Thomas Miller, who is the assigned Mount Laurel judge for this vicinage.
Okay, so, did everyone know that this is a wetland? Because that's correct. And why was the settlement, so it sounded like this was a yes. Are we in the position, are you, Township, committee, in the position that you want to build on this land?
Your Honor, may I?
You can answer, I'll answer after that, but.
Mr. Komar, you were here at last week's meeting, were you not?
I was.
You heard the Township Committee's discussion regarding the issue of the ordinance, and what the ordinance did was to allow the possibility of development on the site, and that the developer is going to be required, in accordance with the laws of the state of New Jersey, to come before the planning board at some point in time with an application in accordance with the settlement agreement for a site not to exceed 96 units, 23 of which will be affordable, and get an approval, which will require them to meet all the requirements, including whether the delineation of wetlands, fresh water, letters of interpretation from the New Jersey State Department of Environmental Protection and the like. The Township Committee entered into a settlement to resolve as part and parcel of the Township's overall affordable housing plan 2 of the members of the governing body will be members of the planning board as pursuant to state law and will hear the application without prejudging it at the time an application is made, of which time you and your neighbors are more than welcome, as you were advised last week, to come before the board and present materials in opposition to the application. I will also indicate for the record that His Honor has signed the order relative to such, and as part of that order, Ms. McManus is going to be present at any and all hearings of this application to ensure that she has her say in the matter and that issues relative to attempting to claim, inclusion, cost-sharing generative issues of the inclusionary development are addressed accordingly. I will tell you that no other application has had the special master attend the hearings.
I don't know who that
So
is,
the court understands, and we all understand, the issues relative and raised by you and your neighbors relative to the possibility of the lack of development on this site.
Right. I don't care about affordable housing. Let's do it. I just don't want it on wetlands, right?
So as we indicated, not just last week, but also during the planning board discussion of this matter and when the matter was introduced, there are wetlands recognized on the property. I will tell you, there are many properties that have wetlands identified on them. That does not mean you can't build on any of the parcel. It just means there are restrictions or certain planning elements that have to be included to ensure that you're not building on the wetlands, because that process has to go through other approvals, not the least of which is NJDEP.
Is there anything before the planning board and/or, I know it's not impartial, however it is going to be impartial, but before you or the township or the planning board that would give you a, no, we can't move forward?
At this time, the committee there is nothing before the committee nor before the planning board, and it would be premature for the planning board or any of its possible representatives to make comments regarding an application not before.
The only thing that's been approved is the zone. There's no site plan in front of us.
No, that I understand. I'm playing this out.
I understand.
I'm going realistically
But I just
here.
want to make sure, you're asking a question, I want to make sure, not just you, but everyone that's listening understands that where that process is.
Here too. No one needs to know I'm here. But realistically, I'm just planning this out further.
Yeah.
This landowner doesn't seem to be going away. And it seems like they'll do everything in their power in order to do it. And I'm just wondering, is this a moot point to even come here before? Do everything else here, because they're going to do everything. I'll get the DEP letters. It's going to be interpreted one way or another. It's then going to drag out. I'm just playing this out and saying, do we even have a chance?
So there are, applications happen all the time where there are issues with permits being granted, where there are things that come up during the site plan process that cause it to be a problem and ultimately not approved. Whether that would be the case here, we won't know until we have the specific materials in front of us. What I can tell you is if you have the concerns that you clearly do, and I know your neighbors do, and we talked about it last week, I would certainly recommend you come when the planning board site, and that is the time to really push the issue. Because, to be honest, even this board, as our council noted, there's 2 of us on this board that sit on planning board. Beyond the point where we approved the zoning last time, this board does not approve site plans. That is solely the jurisdiction of the planning board.
Right.
So beyond what we've done now to put the zoning in place as part of the settlement process to allow us to move forward with our affordable plan, ultimately the site plan will be adjudicated in another board.
If it comes.
If ultimately a site plan comes, correct.
Was there anything in the settlement that had anything specific about the site plan allowing them to develop on?
No.
Rather than, was it only the settlement that we would put forth the motion to approve the zoning or change the zoning? Is that what the settlement?
Yeah, there was a conceptual plan that was provided at the time that this was done, but that doesn't qualify as a site plan because it doesn't address all of the elements that would have to be addressed at the time the site plan is put forth.
I'm going to go doomsday scenario here, and I apologize. I appreciate your time just listening here. What if something happens? Because wetlands, there's been flooding in that area. I'm new to resident to there, to be honest with you, but just in talking with neighbors and just hearing all the hardships that they have been throughout the years, in terms of that area, in terms of the zoning, we're now building more on there. whether you do whatever towards DEP requirements, you put in breathable concrete, you know what I mean, right? There may be more issues that caused by the development of this.
Correct.
And what happens then?
So
I know
that
you've
is,
asked this out
that's
of
a
the
question that you and many others should ask of the applicant's engineer if that process gets to that point.
This was asked.
Yeah, but it has to be addressed by the engineer, because they're the ones that have to validate that the stormwater plan, that the runoff requirements will not impact the surrounding, and they have to explain to you how they're going to do that, and if it doesn't, what your recourse is. That's the person to ask that remedy of the applicant and their engineer.
How does the engineer know how to settlement damage would be, though? That's my
How
question
does the
there.
engineer know? I'm sorry.
So what would happen if there is flooding that does occur because of this building? Who do we come to?
Well, that's the...
This board? Or this committee?
That would end up to be private litigation.
I'm sorry.
That would end up to be private litigation.
It would end up be, right?
Private litigation, I think was what, yeah.
Right, right. We would have to do it collectively towards the landowner. Was there anything in the ordinance or everything discussed in terms of putting in clauses in the ordinance to say, have the landowner set up a trust fund that's, shared or whoever hosts outside of it?
That's not part of the zoning, but it could be part of the...
site plan?
Of the site plan, if
Is that where it
depending upon
occurs?
what the board ultimately chooses to do.
I would not want to give too much, especially in the holiday season. There are provisions relative to affordable housing and inclusionary development that talk about the non-generation of cost-generative material. I don't believe that a trust fund in and of itself is necessarily going to pass muster, but we'll cross that bridge when and if we get to it.
I'm just wondering who to speak to and how to speak to it. Didn't know if it was at the ordinance that we already passed it, or to say like, hey, you can build here, but we're really concerned as residents to come here.
That's an issue you can raise at the planning board.
And it's for the planning board to consider?
Yes.
Is that the time that would be approved, whatever the next date is?
The planning
That's when
board
there's a
would
yes or
approve
no?
or deny an application.
After
When an
hearing all the
application is
testimony.
made.
Okay, when would the yes vote be, that day, or?
Depends on how long the hearing goes. There are multiple witnesses that are called by the applicant, and those witnesses include the engineer and the planner, and generally a traffic study person, depending upon how that testimony goes. Sometimes it's more than one meeting, but it's when essentially the testimony is complete and there's no further comment, then there's a decision that needs to be rendered.
One final thing, just as coming here, sort of pressing before the planning board, is to actually appeal the decision that you just was voted yes on by the township committee here. And if that appeal went forward, would you, as members of the township committee, be an intervener in that case?
No, we would actually be a party, because you'd have to sue the township.
And there has been in other towns, I've just reading through, that the township is actually on both. We'd be suing the township, but in support of whatever the decision that was there.
If you plan on taking an action relative to the action taken by the committee last week, the township would be a defendant in that matter.
Okay. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Speaking
Maria Janusik, 720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. I'm also a Hillsborough Township property owner, Block 86, Lot 3, 2155 Camplain Road, jointly with my husband, Walter Janusik. I had been here I believe it was a September meeting, and I had questions regarding the affordable housing that's going to be built on Block 86, Lot 21, that's referred to as the Sherman Tract. That's part of the Sherman redevelopment plan. And I had referenced an article in the Hillsborough Beacon regarding the first tax abatement hearing that was set for the housing developer, who is Concord Street Urban Renewal Associates. And Committeewoman McCauley said that she couldn't really comment on it since she didn't know what I was talking about. So I prepared a little packet here that I'd like to give to everyone so that when I discuss it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Can I give this out, or should I give it to Pam, let it give out?
You to the clerk.
Sure, you can
Excuse me?
Give it to the clerk.
Clerk?
Yeah. Yeah, just to be, I mean, you can ask certain questions, but we're not going to be able to comment on things that we're not going to read that entire package before, in the time you're going to ask a question, so.
Okay, well, all right, if you could pass
Thank
that
you.
out. First, I'd like to ask who gave the information for this article that refers to this tax abatement hearing?
I have no idea.
No one knows? No one
Oh,
knows? Okay, this was an article.
Realize our meetings are public, and they're videoed, so it doesn't really, you don't really need to have someone ask questions to do a story on something that's approved at a meeting.
Okay, now this is not talking about a meeting. This is an article regarding the tax abatement, an ordinance to approve the, or deny tax abatement for Concord Street Urban Renewal Associates.
Correct.
This does not refer to a meeting.
You have to ask
But
the
it
staff writer.
it was approved, the ordinance for the tax plan was at a public meeting,
It was what?
was discussed at a public meeting.
Okay, this is saying an ordinance to approve is going to be at its first public hearing, so there was no public hearing. This is referring to the hearing, the first one that was supposed to be held in August. So this
the
is
question?
information that there will be a public hearing. So this was not from a meeting, someone had to give this information to the paper, to the
Ms. Chancellor,
staff writer.
I can't answer who gave that information. I have no
Okay,
idea.
all right, so
Well, Mayor,
this-
actually, they're introduced, and then it's published, and
Yeah.
it's
Right.
public knowledge.
It wasn't introduced. It says, all right, I'll read the first sentence. It says, "An ordinance to approve or deny a tax abatement for a developer is expected to come before the Hillsborough Township Committee for its first public hearing in August." So it was not...
Ms. Jansen, that's exactly what it says. It says it's introduced, it's published, and then it's scheduled for a public hearing. So probably the paper picked it up. Ms. Jansen, I'm not going to argue with you. It's a standard procedures. Ordinances are introduced,
Right, right.
they're published, therefore, when they're introduced, the paper would know about it, they would know about it being...
Could you please read the first sentence?
Okay, Ms. Janusik, with all due respect, I'm happy to indulge your questions about the process. I'm not going to, I'm not responsible for the Hillsborough Beacon, so I'm not going to comment on an article that we didn't write. So if you have a question about the process, I'm happy to answer it.
Fine. So so this ordinance was approved, and a tax abatement was given to Concord Street Urban Renewal Associates.
We provided a pilot program, not a tax abatement.
Were they the owner at the time that they were given the tax abatement? Because this property, Block 86, Lot 21, was purchased in 2018 by the members on this
So, Ms. Janusik, as we've talked multiple times, and you've asked the same question
Yes,
at
yes.
multiple meetings, you asked a question, let me answer. Concord was part of the organization that owns the property. It's a subsidiary put in place to build the development. So they were a subsidiary of another company, and that, whether it's the same one that is the specific property owner, but we provided a program to the entity that was going to provide the development.
At that time, Hillsborough Township owned that property.
We did at one point.
So when was this property sold to the developer?
It was not.
Well, then you're saying that they were part of an entity that was an owner.
No, the owner, I'm sorry, I should not have said owner. The developer, there's the main developer and there's a subsidiary. And one of the subsidiary is the one that ultimately built the development, or will build the development.
Are they owners of the property?
We didn't transfer.
No, probably not.
We designated them as the redevelopment.
Correct, but we did not, there's no ownership change.
Not at this time.
Correct. They are simply the redeveloper.
So they're designated as a developer, but they don't own the property, Hillsborough owns the property
Correct.
still.
Correct.
Once they're approved for the development, they will own the property.
They will own it, meaning Hillsborough will sell that property to them.
Yes. It will be transferred to them as part of the obligation.
Excuse me,
It will
I'm
be-
asking.
it will be
Because I believe in the agreement, it said that they are going to purchase that property. I read the agreement, it says they're going to purchase that property. So have they purchased that property yet?
Not yet.
They're going to purchase it. So Hillsborough will be selling, this committee will be selling that property to the developer. Is there a price, purchase price that has been determined for that property?
It's part of the development agreement.
And what is that price?
I don't know if it's
$1.
broken.
Excuse me?
$1.
$1? $1, okay. So this was a 62-acre property that was purchased by this committee. For $2,639,300. That's the 64 acres. So half of that...
Out of the township's
So that was
affordable,
I'm sorry, let me please finish. So that property at the July, I believe, 25th hearing was approved to be subdivided so that there's 32 acres. So is the 32 acres going to be sold for $1, or is the entire 64 acres going to be sold for $1?
the half of the property at this time.
So 32 acres will be sold for $1.
Correct.
And Hillsborough will retain ownership of the other 32 acres?
At this time.
So when is that going to take place? Now, the other, okay, I asked the question, when is that sale going to take place?
Which sale are we talking about, Ms. Janusik?
I'm sorry, what?
Which sale are we talking about? The one to Concord?
Phase one or phase two?
The 32 acres that are going to be sold to the developer, I don't know if it's the main guy or the sub guy, the 32 acres that are going to be sold for the low-income housing, when is that sale going to take place?
Affordable housing, Ms. Janusik, not low income.
Excuse me, but I received a notice of a public hearing due to the fact that my property directly adjoins Block 86, Lot 21, and in there it said moderate and low-income housing.
That's right. I said affordable housing.
Low-income housing.
You're
saying affordable.
Not all of it.
I'm saying moderate and low-income housing.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's better.
Okay.
I always said it was
Okay.
low before.
Now, in this article, it says that the purpose, this is the rehabilitation area. So how does a rehabilitation area qualify for a long-term tax abatement?
That actually is yet to be determined by the state, which may make that decision, I believe, on Thursday, is when the notifications as to whether or not the tax credits are being granted by the federal government.
By the federal government?
It's a federal tax abatement plan. It's not state. It's a federal tax credit plan.
And so who determines, who makes that determination?
The federal, a branch of the federal government,
And
I
what
believe.
would that branch be?
I believe the Department of, HUD.
HUD, right.
Housing
and Urban
Correct.
Development.
They're going to make a determination as to whether they're going to get a tax abatement?
They get multiple applications, and they determine ultimately where the grant funding gets allocated.
Whether they will receive either 9% or 4% tax credits.
Tax credits, is it the same thing? How does that relate to the tax abatement?
There is not a tax abatement. There's a payment in lieu of taxes. There is a pilot program that is a part of an application for federal tax credits for the purposes of building low and moderate income housing on various sites throughout the country, of which this is one of them that is applied.
Okay, so this is low and moderate income, so that goes under the Housing and Urban Development Agency, HUD?
Well, that's where the tax credit process exists. That's why it falls under HUD.
In order to build the development, the developer seeks tax credits from from federal tax credits in order to make the building and the development affordable for the developer's perspective. It has nothing to do with ultimately any tax credit that's provided locally. It is federal tax credits that help them build a development. We don't know if they've qualified yet. We don't know if they'll be granted that. That ultimately is a determination that's made by HUD.
And so will that determination be made before you sell the property to them or after you sell
Yes,
the
because
property?
they'll have to revisit how they're going to develop the property if that tax credit is not available to them.
So what are you saying, that what, before or after?
Before.
Before the sale or after the, before the sale?
Sales after.
Possibly this Thursday, I believe our council.
Or sometime thereafter.
Ms. Janusik, can I just ask a question? I'm sorry to go backwards, but you mentioned this article was from when?
I believe it was July or August.
Okay.
Because
If it was
talks about
July or August.
The first public hearing in August.
Okay, if it's July or August, so you know we introduced it on July 9th. So that's when the ordinance was introduced.
So does
It was-
anyone?
it was July 9th, so all someone had to do-
Does anyone look at what's presented in the press? If there's false or inaccurate information?
You mean there's fake news?
Anyone look at that?
Listen, I do not go through and fact check the Hillsborough Beacon. In fact, I feel very sympathetic for the Hillsborough Beacon because at one time, this 40-page newspaper, which is now down to 5 pages at best, and probably 3 of those pages are filled with just advertisements. It is not the paper that I used to. I feel bad for Thomas Weedman, who's got to be the one who's got to cover this in 5 other municipalities to try to make news stories. But no, I don't go back and I fact check what they do. I don't. What we do, hold on, can I?
This is the township papers, isn't it?
Well, this is not a township newspaper. What we do is we have to name newspapers as ones who will, hold on, no, please let me finish, that publish our notices.
Yes.
Which are notices of, hey, we are having a zoning hearing on X, Y, and Z property, right? So that is published in that section of the newspaper. That is provided by us, and in fact, if anything's wrong in it, we get held liable for it, and we've had to go back when there's been the slightest period in the wrong spot, and we've had to re-notice the public. So that section, I could talk to you about that section, if that's accurate. For whatever Thomas decides to write on his front page, and there's been times that I don't agree with what he's written, I'm sure, that's up to them. I mean, that's news, right? I mean, they get the power of the pen.
The Hillsborough Beacon is considered one of the official newspapers.
Along with the Courier News?
For notices, not for articles.
For notices.
So since there aren't 50 pages and there are 2 articles about Hillsborough,
Yeah.
wouldn't it make sense for someone to check, especially in something like this where it's being said that someone's getting...
Well, what I would encourage
developers getting a
any
tax
member of the public
abatement?
to do is that we have a tremendous YouTube channel where we post every single one of our meetings. We also notice in advance of all of our meetings to make sure members of the public have more than ample opportunity to attend. And I personally don't trust getting my news secondhand through even something like this. I like to look at the source. The source is what's happening here at a township committee meeting, and you know, because if there's anyone who knows, you attend these meetings, I know you watch the videos, which is important, because you get to see it firsthand, and then you take the time to go ahead and open documents to look at it for the next step. So I know that you're not relying on this. I know you're not. I know you've taken the due diligence to look to the next level, because I know you've taken this time. So you can point to this article, but you and I both know that someone can...
May I ask a question then?
No,
Because
please, can I please
There's a headline that
finish?
says first
There's
tax
so many
abatement
opportunities
hearing.
that
So
you
they-
asked that-
so they're not getting a tax abatement, is that what you're saying?
What
That
I'd
this is
ask-
wrong,
can I-
and they are
can-
not getting a tax abatement?
I didn't
This
say
is
that.
wrong?
They're getting a pilot.
You said that. We didn't say there wasn't an
No,
abatement.
because...
I didn't get to finish what I was saying. That's-
that he doesn't trust secondhand information, this and that, wouldn't get it from the
So,
paper.
Ms. Janusik,
So then
I didn't say every single thing in here is not accurate.
And I'm asking,
No, Ms.
is this
Janusik.
wrong?
Well,
First
off, Ms. Janusik, you cut me off 3 times. Can I please finish just one of my thoughts? I'd really appreciate it. Number one, I didn't say every single thing that's ever been printed in the Beacon is not accurate, okay? I think we both can agree that that is not what I was saying. What I was saying is that perhaps something that they got wrong in the story could take place. Just like I've seen the New York Times, okay, or the Wall Street Journal, or the Washington Post, they have a section on page 2, bottom left-hand corner, where they print corrections, because at times, people do make mistakes.
Yes.
That happens. I think we can both agree.
I understand. I've seen
Just
that
one
too.
time, can you let me finish what I'm saying? I'd really appreciate it. I let you speak, and if you just give me the same courtesy, I would appreciate. Sometimes people make mistakes, and there are those corrections that are printed. Perhaps they made a mistake, but not the entire newspaper is wrong. It's not. There are parts of this which are accurate, such as that an ordinance could be approved or denied that includes a tax abatement. It's technically a pilot. They got that section wrong right there. It's a pilot, it's not a tax abatement, but, okay. But I understand what they were trying to say there. They put in other germane information, such as that the meeting was taking place at 7:30 PM at 379 South Branch Road. That part is very accurate. I can attest to that. Just like you could attest to that, because you've been here. So can we just agree that, okay, they got something wrong in this, perhaps, but that is not something that is written by the township, correct? We both agree on that, correct?
But Ms. Jessup, with all due respect, I honestly, this is now going back to July. I frankly don't care whether the article at this point had a correction needed or not. The fact of the matter is, we've approved that project. It's now pending federal tax credits. There was a pilot program that was approved, and whether it was called a tax abatement or a pilot, I guess is technically, maybe the technical wording there, but there was a pilot program that was approved in order to continue to make the development be able to be built and sustainable, because we need that from an affordable housing perspective. So I don't want to comment on an article from 6 months ago. It's irrelevant to where we are now. If you have a legitimate question, I'm happy to answer it. I've now asked you that 3 times. I'm not sure what it is you're looking for, but if you have a legitimate question, could you please ask it?
Okay, can you tell me, so is a tax abatement the same thing as a pilot?
A pilot is a form of tax abatement, yes.
So then this would be correct for the tax abatement?
I'm not going to comment on the newspaper. I've told you that 3 times already.
Tax abatement and pilot are the same thing?
I didn't say that, so stop putting words in my mouth.
Well, then
I said one is a form of,
explain it.
I said it's a form
I'm
of.
asking.
Do
So
you know
what
what
is
the
difference?
definition of abatement is?
What is the difference?
Do you know what a definition of abatement is?
Yes.
What is it?
Where it becomes something less.
You're lessening, correct.
Yes.
So they're applying to HUD for a tax credit, which essentially lessens their tax burden. There you go, that's the definition. So they're applying to HUD to lessen their tax burden, to make the project more affordable for them to build 100% affordable homes so that they can build it and still make money. If they had to pay the full tax, they would not be able to do it. So that is a definition, in this case, what their application was for. Is strictly a lessening of the burden of tax to make the project affordable on 100% affordable. So in this case, that's what the abatement is. It's not that it's an elimination of the tax. It's asking for a credit from the federal government to make the project affordable for them. That's it.
Okay.
Question answered, right?
And so what is a pilot? What's the difference between a pilot and a tax abatement?
Essentially the same, it's just a different verbiage.
There's different forms of abatement, pilot being one of them.
Okay. Now, the next question is, why did you pay almost $3 million for this property, and it's going to be sold to a developer for
So to be
$1?
clear, the property was purchased out of our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. That's a separate program set up by where their monies has to be put into a fund to promote affordable housing. So we bought it out of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. It will be transferred to the developer as part of this development in order to allow it to be a 100% affordable project. Otherwise, it would not be an affordable opportunity. So we've provided essentially the land to help promote the affordable out of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. The developer will build upon that.
And by doing so, we have stopped the building of
400,
500 units, which probably translates to 200 school children being added by doing that. Instead of just, if we didn't do it all 100% affordable, we'd have to find spots for another 400 or 500 units somewhere else in town in order to do that same unit.
Just from phase 1, correct.
That's why pilots are advantageous. As horrible as they are, that's the only reason anyone enters into them, is because we get an opportunity to say, you know what, we can make 100% affordable on this property to stop having to build somewhere else in town, which, as you can see from our previous speaker, that is a large concern. We don't want to keep building on what little land we have yet. And quite frankly, again, and I've said this more than once, if we really want to go after this, all the residents have to start contacting their legislators and saying, you know what, let's shift this burden from being from a municipality burden, put it to a state burden where they should be the ones that are the one looking at the global sense of what affordable housing is. It should be needs-based, not just by doing town by town by town, giving arbitrary numbers, forcing towns to do settlements, forcing towns to consider building on wetlands. All of that is criminally insane, but it's not going to change until every resident starts calling their legislators and say, what can we do next? And again, I've said it, Kip Bateman's got bills in, Roy Fryman's got bills in, that's a Republican, a Democrat. This is not a Republican issue, this is not a Democrat issue. This is what's going to be left of suburban municipalities in the next 10 years if we don't start looking at this holistically. Because guess what? In 2025, this whole thing starts up again, and we got to say, you know what, you got to build another 10,000 units like they tried to push this time. So,
What do you mean in
and Brand.
2025, it's going to start over again?
Immunity under the current round of affordable housing expires at the end of sometime in 2025, which will require all municipalities, including Hillsborough, to reassess their affordable housing plans for the next round, which is round 4/5, depending on which round you believe it is.
And who
At
is
least
that?
round 4.
Who is mandating that?
State of New Jersey through the New Jersey Supreme Court, and as Committeeman Deputy Mayor Thompson indicated, the lack of action taken by the New Jersey State Legislature, which the courts then had to step in and take care of.
So COA was disbanded, so who
COA no longer exists. It wasn't disbanded.
No longer exists, so who is mandating this? The courts?
The New Jersey courts, most notably the New Jersey Supreme Court.
I did a town hall back in April on it. You might want to watch it. We go through all of that process.
In April?
Yeah.
It's on YouTube.
All right,
Very informative.
I want to make one more point before you get into it, because I know you're going to ask, and I want to make sure it's clear on the record. When I say it came out of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, that does not mean it's taxpayer money. The trust fund is funded by development fees that are mandated to be placed in there from other developments. So there's a trust fund that's built. Those funds are not taxpayer money, so it's not coming out of our normal budget. It's money that's used strictly to promote affordable housing, and we use that, as I said earlier, that land will then be transferred as part of the process to help facilitate the building of 100% affordable on this property.
And on top of that, the Affordable Housing Trust Fund must be used.
Must be, correct.
Must. Can't throw it into the general fund, must be used for affordable housing.
And you know, you bring up a good point, Counselor. If we did not dedicate this fund saying we were going to purchase this property, I believe Governor Christie in 2013 or 14, it was further back than that, apologize. If we didn't say we were going to purchase this or have plans to use this funds, they were going to wipe all the funds and bring it back to the state, and we were going to lose all that money that has been given by non-residential developers here in Hillsborough. So it was one of those situations, use it, or literally you're going to lose it.
What is the name of that fund again?
Excuse me?
What is the name of that fund?
The
again?
Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
Affordable Housing Trust Fund, okay. Now, is there a resolution by the committee to use that money to purchase Block 86, Lot 21? Is there a resolution?
You've asked the question.
Stating that money was going to be used for the purchase of that property?
You've asked that question multiple times, and the answer hasn't changed. The answer was yes.
There is a resolution, okay. And so, in what year was that?
2018, I believe.
18? Okay. So now there is an ordinance 2019-03 adopting a redevelopment plan for the properties identified on the official tax map of Hillsborough, Block 86, Lot 21, and Block 90, Lot 6.01. And it says, now therefore be it ordained, the Township Committee hereby amends the zoning district map of the Township of Hillsborough to reflect the rezoning of the study area pursuant to the redevelopment plan. The redevelopment plan shall supersede all previous zoning standards and development regulations. So this says that the Hillsborough's zoning district map was amended. So Block 86, Lot 21, as it shows on the property record card that I attached with this packet, zoned I-1 light industrial. So you can't build, residential housing is not a permitted use in the I-1 light industrial.
Ms. Janczak, you just, the words you just said were, the zone was amended and the new zoning supersedes any previous zoning. You said the words.
Shall supersede all previous zoning standards and develop. Okay, so that means that the zone was changed for that property?
Yes. That is correct.
And it was the
Okay.
same when you asked this question at the planning board, and it was the same when you asked the question at the hearing and the reading. So this is what, the fourth or fifth time you asked the same question, and it was answered the same way that we just answered. Yes, it was changed, and we're to do the zoning.
So then there should be a new zoning map?
You don't necessarily have to redo the new zoning map every time you change the zone. No. It's just established. You don't have to make a whole new map.
When the zone is changed, so when the zone is changed, do you change the map?
We will eventually change the map, but we don't do it for each instance of the process. There's a process and there's a significant cost to updating maps. So we need to be sure that we're doing it in an efficient and taxpayer-wise manner.
So when you change the zone of a property, do you have to do that by ordinance?
Which we did.
Yeah, you just
You just read it from the ordinance, correct, yes.
Okay. Was notice given to property owners?
Ms.
within
Janczak,
200
come on,
feet?
we've talked process a dozen times. I'm not having the same conversation with you. You've asked, yes.
Notice was sent to adjoining property owners. I did not receive notice.
Wow.
I did not
Can't
receive
control
notice.
the
And it
post
says
office.
here, procedural due process is violated when a statutory procedure outlining the
Ms.
process.
Ms.
required.
Janczak.
So I did not, so where do I get the list of property owners?
So you were not here at the hearing when we talked about this?
Which hearings? The hearings on the ordinance? The hearings on the abatement?
I don't know if you got a notice, but you were here because you asked the same question you're asking now.
On an ordinance change, on a zone change ordinance?
You were here.
You were
On
here.
a zone change ordinance.
You were here.
asked
And
the
you were
same
here
question.
and you were here for all the hearings that went before the planning board, and you asked the same questions at the planning board you asked at the township committee.
That was not a zone change
Ms.
hearing.
Janczak,
I received a letter regarding the letter of interpretation to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. I received public hearing regarding subdividing the properties. I did not get notice of a zone change ordinance that was going to impact my property. Now,
I believe I recall you and a bunch, the mayor, Ms. Janczak, I believe I recall you were here, the mayor of Manville was here, amongst some other neighboring Manville residents, were all here at that hearing. And the mayor sat right back there, you sat over here, and a bunch of Manville, so I explicitly remember you being here at that ordinance. So you saw it, you heard it, you were here. Mayor, I make a motion to end test this questioning, because it's just belligerent and it's all been asked before.
okay, so then when you change, when a zone change is affected, that zone change has to be provided to the Somerset County Planning Board. Was that done?
you've asked that question
Was
before,
that
Ms.
done?
Janczak.
Well,
The answer has not changed. Keep asking the same question, you get the same
And this is
answer.
what I get.
That's right. We're
Yes or
we're
no?
not obligated.
Yes or no? It's a
It's
yes
been
or no.
answered. I don't think there's a need to re-answer the question.
We can spend 20 minutes doing this, or you could say yes or no.
Ms.
And-
Janczak, there's a procedure that the township follows, and the township committee does not sit here on a daily basis and work in the building department and follow the paper trail. Our employees do that, with all due respect. So when you come up here and you forward all these questions, and you expect us to answer whatever's flying around in your head, clearly we don't have all the answers, and every day everything happened off the top of our heads. So with all due respect, the mayor's been very gracious with answering your comments. This is a comment section, not a question and answer section. And with all due respect, with the township process that we have here, we've done more than our share of trying to answer your questions, but we've answered the same questions over and over. And all you're looking for is someone to answer you differently.
No.
Yes.
Attorney Bernstein last time said, well, I don't know if there was or not.
So, Ms. Janczak, you come to every one of these hearings, you ask a question, if you get an answer, you come back in another hearing, you ask the same question, hoping that the answer will change. There are processes available for you to follow if you do not believe the municipality has followed the law.
Or acted accordingly.
Or acted accordingly. Coming before the committee and engaging in a question and answer period is not one of those processes. And you're well aware of them.
I had
So
submitted
is there-
an
do you have-
Oprah request for a copy of the amended zoning district map to reflect rezoning of the study area pursuant to the redevelopment
And you were,
plan.
and hopefully Ms. Boric told you there wasn't
And a
one.
record of the filing of the zone change ordinance with the Somerset County Planning Board. And the response I received from Pamela Boric, Township Clerk, is no such record exists. There was no zone change. There was no zone change.
And that's what Attorney Bernstein just said, that he said he hoped that Borak would have told you no such record exists, because 10 minutes ago, they just went through how we don't issue a zoning map every time we just change a zone in the interest of taxpayer dollars. The mayor said that, and one of the committee people said that.
It says right here, there was no zone change. There was no zone.
Where does it say that?
On a map, are you referring to?
There's no zone change on the map because we haven't changed the map.
I submitted an Oprah request.
Okay.
This is it here, and the answer is on the...
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Janusik, I ask you, please go back by the microphone. Okay.
Request the following provided amended zoning district. Oh, because you were asking for a zoning district map change, which hasn't been printed yet, probably. Is that what
You
you're
said
saying?
that, no, so let's be clear. You didn't ask for a zoning change.
Zone change.
You said you asked for the zoning map
Can I
change.
read that on the bottom?
The map change. Yeah, the map hasn't probably been updated yet. That usually takes...
Of the zoning district map to reflect.
And,
Of the zone change ordinance.
yes,
There was a zone change ordinance.
yes, well,
And the map hasn't been changed to reflect the zone.
Okay.
No, because
We will look
the map
into that.
hasn't changed.
Okay, we will look into that.
the response I received.
Do you have any further questions?
Yes, yes.
You've got, I've been pretty good. You've been up here for like 20 minutes now. You got 5 minutes.
Okay. In the body of the Sherman redevelopment plan on page 11,
I'm not going to reference it. You can ask your question.
my property is zoned I-1 light industrial, and it says here there are several residential properties fronting Camplain Road that abut the rehabilitation area, and they're currently zoned I-1 light industrial. Although they are not located in the rehabilitation area or covered by this redevelopment plan, it is recommended that they be rezoned R residential to complement the rehabilitation area and other adjoining residential properties. So is that going to be done?
Don't know yet.
When are we going to know?
I don't know. I can't answer your question. I don't know yet. If that does occur, you will be, the appropriate people will be noticed.
It's just a recommendation.
So the property behind me is going to allow residential housing and me and all that Klein Recycling and...
So you can ask it a different way. The answer is not going to change. I don't know yet. And you will be noticed if that happens.
Just like I was noticed that you changed the
Don't.
zone on the Sherman redevelopment area.
Yep.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor on matters not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to our consent agenda tonight. We have 14 items to address. They're all identified. Does anyone on the dais wish to take any of these items separately?
No, thank you.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve resolutions 1 through 14?
So move, Mayor.
Second.
Second.
Any comments from the dais? Any comments from the floor?
You're first.
Maria Janusik, 720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. Hillsborough Township property owner, Block 86, Lot 3, 2155 Camplain Road. It's the, I guess the number is consent 15, that's the executive session resolution.
We're not on the executive session resolution yet, we're on 1 through 14.
Oh, you're only on 1 to 14. Okay, let's see which one. Okay. Consent number 11, resolution authorizing adjustment in the not-to-exceed amount for professional services contract for the year 2019. So it says here that there's going to be an additional $10,000 for the professional services of DeFrancesco, Bateman, Kunzman, Davis, Ware, and Flom. So they had received previously a $25,000 increase from the original $50,000. And so now they're getting another 10, that's going to be a total of $85,000. Is that the total final amount for the year, or can that?
Well, since this is, if we had to adjust it, we'd have to call a special meeting to further adjust the budget. So since this is our last meeting, I would assume, it's safe to assume that's our last change to that, but, you know, if emergencies happen, we would deal with that at that point.
So as of today, it's $85,000.
Max.
Correct. Not to exceed, correct.
That's not the bill, it's max not to exceed.
Not to exceed, okay. And also, I see that there's another $10,000 going to Eric Bernstein and Associates, and that's for labor attorney.
Same difference.
So why does this happen? Why don't you, because this appears to happen every year, why don't you just start with a realistic amount instead of down the line when people don't pay that much attention? You add.
I would argue that our residents pay attention 24/7 and look very diligently at this sort of thing, so I take offense to that.
I'm sorry, who?
Our residents of Hillsborough.
Everybody that was here at the meeting.
Oh, Ms. Janasek, that's very unfair, because we have, Ms. Janasek, that, again, just one time, can you let me finish a thought? I really appreciate it.
Because you're,
I get,
because
Ms. Janasek, Ms. Janasek, please.
What's the word? You're chastising me.
I am absolutely not. Ms. Janasek,
Public here.
please, let me finish a thought. I'd really appreciate it. Again, just because a resident's not here, we have numerous residents who do watch the videos and contact us, read the minutes, and reach out to us. Just because they're not here in the room doesn't mean that they don't care about what's happening in Hillsborough. I know numerous residents that reach out to us after these meetings. We all have that, where they contact us. That is something that happens all the time. And as far as budgeting, you budget for X, you hope you come in there, but say this year, we're in the middle of negotiating a police contract. So maybe that required a little more extra time of labor. Or we have a dispute, say, in another contract with the white-collar laborers. Guess what? That might add to the cost. Some things are unavoidable, and you say, okay, we have to go back and ask for more. And that's what we're doing. Clearly, we have the money set aside because we're able to do this, because we are fairly fiscally conservative in this town, and we make sure that we have that ability to do so if there's an emergency arises, which, as you can see, we're voting on it now, has happened.
And just to be clear, it doesn't change the overall budget, it just changes amounts between line items. So the total budget is unchanged.
Thank you.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Consent number 8, resolution authorizing T&M Associates to prepare the stormwater pollution prevention plan update. And in the first sentence, it says the NJDEP requires the Township of Hillsborough to submit a stormwater pollution prevention plan update with our annual report permit. What annual report permit, what is that referred to?
Because there's an annual report permit for our stormwater permits that we have to move forward with, so this is part of that process. And T&M is our engineer, so they're the ones that are responsible for that.
And since you're so concerned about our budgets, as I know you've mentioned several times, I encourage you to reach out to the legislature and ask them why there's another unfunded mandate put on the municipality to spend $5,000 to prepare a permit that they require us to have. I'll leave that up to our attorneys to think about
But I'm
that,
not
too.
understanding, this permit is for what specifically?
Stormwater management or pollution.
Water rates.
Stormwater pollution prevention?
It's a requirement by the state. It's not something that we made up out of the air. It's something we have to do, and our engineer is the firm that's responsible for helping us put the plan so that we can submit it to the state and ensure that we're in compliance with our permit requirements.
So this is something that it says annual, so every year?
Correct.
And this, how far back is this going?
I don't know. We're worrying about this year right now.
Okay. Consent number 13, resolution disbanding the capital planning committee. And so it says historically, the capital planning committee had recommendations, and it was determined they're no longer required. So who's going to be doing the capital planning now if you don't have a committee?
There'll be a subcommittee of township committee members that will hear the process, and it'll be included as part of the budget process.
And does it have to go before planning board, or?
Yeah.
It still will be reviewed at a planning
board.
perspective.
Yeah,
correct.
so it has to go to the planning board after that review, just like it has to go to the planning board,
What does?
The final capital plan.
the capital plan.
And so who previously was on this capital planning committee?
There was some appointed committee people that had a couple meetings early part of the year to review the process that are capital planning people, that are employees in departments for capital needs. I think we've determined that it's probably easier for the process to have our township committee more directly involved in that process and move forward.
So then those people won't be involved in the process anymore, it'll just be the township committee?
That's correct.
So, Ms. Janusik, what it was a 10-member board of volunteers that were appointed, and all the heads would do a presentation in front of them saying what they were looking to do for the annual year of capital expenditure. That board would then rate those projects from high to low as far as importance, then come and give that same presentation to the planning board, and then the planning board would send the recommendation to the township committee, and then we would look at that list and move things up and down as we thought would be best. That process took a lot of time, and we found that over time, the employees and the committee felt it'd be more streamlined to eliminate the capital planning and have the people who are making the presentations make it directly to the committee to eliminate that month that it takes to have it meet in front of the capital planning committee. So therefore, we could quickly and more expeditiously, get the capital funds approved for those projects, i.e. police cars, radios, parks and rec stuff, so things that directly impact the residents of Hillsborough. Essentially is what it is. It's just a streamlining of the process that is already done that you see.
So that's with input from the different department heads?
Department heads, correct.
Okay. All right, so I had a question on that executive session.
We're not there yet.
So, but
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments from the floor on the resolutions? Okay, roll call, please.
Committeeman LaPlante?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
Mayor Duffy?
Yes. Can I have a motion to approve claims list 2019-34?
So moved, Mayor.
Second?
Comments from the dais? From the floor? Roll call, please.
Committeeman LaPlante?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Did you put your hand up? Hold on. Come on up.
Back it up.
I couldn't see you with the camera, sorry.
So regarding this executive session resolution?
We're not on the executive session yet, we're on claims list.
Claims list.
Just stand there for a second. We'll be there in a second.
Just wait 1 second.
All right.
Just let us move
Do
forward.
you have any comments on the claims list?
No.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman LaPlante?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes?
Deputy Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
Mayor Duffy?
Yes. This concludes our regular meeting. We do have an executive session this evening. Ms. Bork, will you please read the executive session resolution?
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Township Committee is of the opinion that such circumstances exist, now therefore be resolved by Township Committee. The Township of Hillsborough and the County of Somerset, State of New Jersey as follows. The public shall be excluded from discussion of the hereinafter discussed subject matter. Number 2, the general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows: potential litigation, affordable housing. Number 3, the Township Committee may take official action on those items discussed in the executive session upon the completion. Number 4, those minutes shall be made available to the public as soon as the matters under discussion are no longer sensitive or confidential in nature. Number 5, this resolution take effect immediately.
Okay, may I have a motion, please, on the executive session resolution?
So moved.
Yes.
I want to make sure there is a requirement in there that formal action may be taken.
I'm sorry, yes.
Can you just read that, Pam?
Yes, formal action may be taken upon the conclusion of the executive session.
Thank you.
Okay. Any comments from the dais? Any comments from the floor?
I'm sorry, did we get a motion and a second?
Yes, I make a motion.
Thank you,
I think
sorry.
Sean said second.
Okay, thanks.
Maria Janusik, 720 East Frick Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. Records regarding affordable housing litigation. I know that there had been litigation regarding the Sherman property, Block 86, Lot 21, and apparently that litigation is done because the property was bought by the Hillsborough Township Committee. Where are those records, are those court records available in the township regarding that litigation?
Well, that's
as
not-
to who was the attorney and what was the outcome and all that?
Well, it's not really relevant to the executive session. This is just specifically, we're going into executive session to discuss possible litigation. Has nothing to do with necessarily the Sherman property. So I'm not sure I understand your question.
Yeah, no, it's not regarding the Sherman property, but because this executive session is going to be is regarding potential litigation on affordable housing, I wanted to know where the records are for prior affordable housing litigation, because I know that Block 86, Lot 21 had been in an executive sessions because of the affordable housing litigation.
So the record, at the time that they're no longer of a sensitive, or what's the language, confidential or sensitive nature, that information is disclosed. If it's now public, it would be out there. If it's still subject to the executive resolution at the time it was put in executive, it would still be confidential and would be disclosed at a time where it's no longer confidential or sensitive. Did I say that right, Counselor?
Correct.
Okay, so in the case of Block 86, Lot 21, since it was bought and all kinds of ordinances were enacted because of that property, that
If
should
there's
no longer
litigation
be-
that is public, it's litigation that would be public, and you could find it at the, through the court process. If it hasn't been made public yet because it's still confidential or sensitive, it's not going to be available to you.
So it would be available through the court process?
There is no court process involving Block 86, Lot 21, regarding the Sherman property per se. There are issues related to the acquisition and use of the property that are part of the township's affordable housing plan that continue to be within the confines of executive session because of ongoing litigation as to the overall plan, as well as ongoing litigation with some of the parties in the plan as it relates to the Sherman property.
So you're saying that that information would not be available yet because it's
Correct.
ongoing?
Correct.
Okay. And which attorney usually handles the affordable housing litigation?
Mr. Bernstein is our Affordable Housing Counsel.
So only he would handle this litigation? Only he?
Correct. He's our designated affordable housing attorney.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments from the floor? Okay, can I have a roll call, please? Roll call, please, on the executive resolution.
Committeeman Lapani?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes?
Deputy Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
Yes, that concludes our meeting. We're going to go into executive session. I would like to wish everyone a very, very happy and healthy holiday season, and look forward to seeing you all in the new year. Good night, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We'll see you in 2020. Thank you.